Okay, we're live on YouTube. The meeting is yours, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. I'd like to call the regular City Commission meeting to order of Tuesday, May 11th, 2021, and ask all of you to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to
the flag,
the United States of
States
America,
of America,
and to
and
the
to the
republic
republic
which it stands, one nation,
one
under
nation,
God,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with
liberty and
justice
justice
for all.
for all.
Thank you. Start with roll call. Mayor Pro Tem Olsman,
President Huntington Woods.
Commissioner Elder,
President in Huntington Woods.
Commissioner Rozelle.
President Huntington Woods.
We are expecting Commissioner Jenks shortly, and Mayor Paul present in Huntington Woods. Moving on to the agenda, we have two changes to our agenda. We're going to delete the existing item number 3 for further review by our city attorney and replace that with a United Way resolution. We have a motion to approve the amended agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We do not have any communications that I'm aware of. So we'll move right along to our county commissioner is with us tonight. Charlie, do you have any updates from the county for us?
Yeah, just a couple of quick things. You all can hear me okay?
We can.
Okay, great. So trying out these new headphones. First, congratulations on getting a city budget done. I see that's on the agenda. And also congrats on Juneteenth. That's a great thing to see. Awesome. So from the county, I got two things. One, just a quick update about COVID. And then the other thing is ARP, which is the COVID 2.0 relief money that the county and local communities are going to be getting. So first, with the COVID update, Michigan is now at a point where 55% of us in the state have been vaccinated. And at the current cadence, we're going to be able to vaccinate as long as there are no other hiccups or anything that comes up unforeseen. We should, in 2-week increments, be able to vaccinate 5% of our population throughout the state, which means that within 6 weeks, we should be able to have that magic number of 70% of people 16 and up vaccinated in all of Michigan. So that'll be a big deal. And if there's anyone that's worried about the vaccine or doesn't know if it's something they should get, or if they have any questions about what it might do to you or where you could get it, please reach out to me and I'd be happy to talk with you about it. Or I could put you in touch with our public health department. We have a whole team of nurses and several doctors that lead the organization that would be able to answer any questions anyone has. So that's an update and great news about COVID. As it relates to ARP, we finally just earlier this week got from the Department of Treasury in Washington, D.C., the interim final rules on what all the ARP money will be used for. So Oakland County is receiving about $120 million in its bank account this week from that $1.9 trillion relief package. Huntington Woods should be getting a check soon for the amount that y'all will be getting for your local relief. And so now begins in earnest, us really looking through what we can do in terms of putting that money to work to help us get back on track. So I would love to hear all of your thoughts and perspectives. A couple of things we've been working on are making more innovative government, making a more receptive government, so better government constituent interactions, but also talking about kind of nuts and bolts things like infrastructure, childcare. How can Oakland County be that last dollar in or that keystone to help fund projects that might otherwise not be able to happen? So please, if you have any thoughts or ideas, would love to hear it because this is an all hands on deck sort of situation. And those were the big things I had to bring up.
All right, thank you, Charlie. Does anyone have any questions for our county commissioner? All right. Moving on to public participation. Now is an opportunity for the public to make a comment on an item that is not on the agenda.
So we have one caller. If that person would like to make a comment, press *9 to raise your hand, and then we will call on you. Okay, 1903. If you press *6, that will unmute you. And then, yeah, *6 on your handset to unmute, and then say your name and address for the record, and then make your comment.
Hi, this is Helene Zach, your adoptive garden coordinator. And I just want to speak about the program. I am still looking for more volunteers to help do some gardening in the parks. And I want to thank all the wonderful people that are out there that are helping. They are just truly beautiful residents of Huntington Woods. We're also planning to have a park cleanup session at Alligator Park on Sunday, May 23rd from 2 to 4 p.m. And I welcome any residents that want to join. If you want more information, this is Helene Zach. You can call or text me at 248-506-1903. Any questions?
No questions, just thanks for all your hard work. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
No other callers, Mr. Mayor.
All right. We'll close public participation and move on to the public hearing for the 2021-22 city budget. Since we don't have any public on the call, I don't think we're going to have any public comments. So we'll close the public hearing and move on to our regular items of business. Item number 1 is a matter of adopting the city budget for fiscal year commencing on July 1st, 2021 and ending on June 30th of 2022. We have a motion.
So move.
Second.
Any comments or questions from the commission?
Yes, sir. I noticed there was agreement at the last meeting to combine the outstate and in-state 7,500 and 1,500 should be 9,000. It showed up in the budget as 7,000.
We had 7,000. It was actually the proposed budget had 5,000 out of state and 5,500 out of state and 1,500 in state. We combined that
Okay.
for 7,000 because we moved the 2,000 to the anti-racism plan. That's the
Okay.
difference between the 9 and the 7.
Okay.
Any other comments or questions?
Mr. Mayor, Amy, do we have sufficient flexibility in this to allocate funds toward a garden this year if need be, if we decide to undertake an overhaul of one of our entryway gardens?
We would go out for bids and then bring it back to the city commission. And if we need to have a budget amendment, then we would ask you to make a budget amendment at that time.
Okay, great.
And we, Joe, we still haven't allocated the money coming from the federal government. So there is, the guidelines just came out yesterday. So, I mean, there's sufficient space in there, I think, to deal with a garden.
Okay, and all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Item number 2 is a matter of authorizing collection of the tax administration fee in accordance with Public Act 503. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 3 is a resolution supporting participation in United Way of Southeastern Michigan's 21-day equity challenge. We have Andre Ebron with us this evening from the United Way. You know what? I'll read the proclamation first, and then I'll turn it over to you to make some additional comments. Whereas the city of Huntington Woods stands firmly against all acts of individual and systemic racism, and whereas we will openly talk, challenge, and confront racism, sexism, and inequality. And whereas there is a long history of racism, discrimination, and segregation within our region, which has adversely impacted economic outcomes, particularly for communities of color. And whereas we wish to end injustice, inequality, and violence, and we unequivocally declare that an injustice to one is an injustice to all. And whereas we believe that local government must play a vital role in dismantling systems that have marginalized members of our community. Whereas we believe that municipal staff and our community members should be provided the necessary resources to facilitate discussion of racism, inequality, and privilege to help better understand our full history of our collective humanity. And whereas, as a city commission, we value every community member and are committed to creating an equitable and anti-racist system that honors and elevates all. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the city of Huntington Woods recognizes that the United Way for Southeastern Michigan 21-day Equity Challenge is an important opportunity to expand our knowledge and understanding of the historic and persistent inequalities that play a role in our social and economic landscape here in Southeastern Michigan. Be it further resolved that the city of Huntington Woods encourages all municipal staff and members of our community to participate in the 21-day Equity Challenge to deepen our understanding of and develop our willingness to confront racism, sexism, and other forms of inequality, inequity and inequality in our community. Proclaim this 11th day of May, 2021.
All right, well, thank you very much for having us this evening. Thank you for providing space for us to discuss the 21-day Equity Challenge. And so here is a little bit about the challenge. So what is the challenge? So much like any other healthy habit, some of us are on a 21-day diet to get our health together. Some of us are working out 21 days. Some of us are on a budget for 21 days to realign our finances. This right here is just as important, if not more important. It is a 21-day equity challenge in hopes that everybody would develop the healthy habit of seeing life through the lens of equity. So for 21 days, from May 21st to June 18th, participation is 100% free. So there is no charge to engage. The only thing that you have to have is a willing heart and a willing spirit to examine what our lives and to reimagine the possibilities. Now, participants will receive one email each weekday, Monday through Friday, and we are asking for only 15 minutes of your day, 15 to 20 minutes to engage the material. Here are some of the examples. Some of the examples include racial identity, bias and privilege, the racial wealth gap, environmental justice, gender inequity, and so much more. Here are what participants will be engaged in weekly. You'll have an opportunity to travel with the cohort for roundtable discussions. I believe that as the proclamation says, deepening our understanding can only come through healthy dialogue. And through that dialogue, iron will sharpen iron. We'll be able to share, our personal equity journeys and then adjust our lens appropriately. This is a time for powerful reflection. As you and I know, the COVID-19 and everything that was going on with it, the pandemic, all of the different political and racial challenges that have occurred in the last year and a half made it glaringly possible for us to see where we need to work, where we can come up with some very plausible solutions and begin to work toward that end. Now, here's an optional opportunity that you all can participate in. On May 21st, we're having an opening event. And I mean, we have really laid it out for you to come and engage, to participate. And then on June 18th, we have a closing event, but those events are optional. The roundtables and the kickoff and closing events will be held on Fridays from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Here's our ask. Here's what we're asking. We'd like for local governments and elected officials to sign up as equity partners. So we're not just asking for you to engage this equity journey alone. We want to walk hand in hand with you as a partner. And here's what we believe that will do. If you embrace it, and clearly you have embraced it, as something meaningful for the community, it again presents that as a priority to lift the voices of the traditionally marginalized. What also we are encouraging you to do is we are encouraging you to share this in your respective places of work, and not just at your places of work, but the local staff and everyone listening to me. And if you would like to do so, I'm going to give you the link. It is UnitedWayEquityChallenge.org. Again, UnitedWayEquityChallenge.org. So to the Huntington Woods community, we really appreciate the stance that you have taken in adopting what the proclamation there, and anything that we can do to support you along the way. We'd like to thank you. Again, greetings from our president and CEO, Dr. Darian Hudson, and thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Amy, do we need a motion to?
No, we will promote this on all of our usual communication channels.
Okay. All right, any other comments? All right, thank you once again. Moving on to item number 4. So resolution transferring the delinquent water bills from 2020, 2021 to the 2021 summer tax roll. This is something that we do annually. Do we have a motion?
I'll move.
Is there a second there?
Second.
Okay. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 5 is a resolution to approve the a resolution to establish a request for funding, designate an agent, and attest to the existence of funds to commit to implementing a maintenance program for the road reconstruction funded by the Transportation Economic Development Fund. Amy, do you want to make any comments on that?
Yeah, we are applying for a 50-50 grant. We are asking for $250,000 from MDOT, and we would match that and a little bit more in order to do continual road maintenance projects, not road reconstruction, but the mill and overlay projects that we have later on in the agenda. So if we were able to get this grant, we'd be able to do $250,000 more work. So we do have a grant application is already filled out. It's due June 1st, and they need the supporting resolution to go along with the grant application. So once you approve this, we'll get that application sent in tomorrow.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from the commission?
Good use of resources. if we get it.
Amy, I'm really glad to see that we're trying again for this fund. Really appreciate the effort. I'm wondering, would it make sense to get a letter of support from our state legislators on the application?
They didn't ask for that. They wanted to know who our representative and senators were. I can give them a heads up that we are applying for it and let them know that, to expect a call, that we would really appreciate the support.
Yeah, I think it might be a good idea to connect the dots because of the challenges that we had in the past with it.
Yes.
And the feedback that you were able to provide them last year.
Yes, I can do that tomorrow.
Thanks.
And all those in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 6 is a matter of approving the revised commission rules of procedures. Amy?
Yeah, we had adopted the rules of procedure as part of complying with the Open Meetings Act. We did it a month ago. We noticed a discrepancy between the Open Meetings Act and our rules, so we have corrected it with these updated rules. It just, the information was how to participate in remote meetings. There was no substantive change, but we do want to make sure we're in compliance with the Open Meetings Act.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 7 is a resolution to consider approving the revised City of Huntington Woods recognized community group criteria. This comes out of some groups that are looking to use some of our parks for meetings in Huntington Woods. Amy, do you want to just touch on that real quickly?
Yep, we noticed during COVID that we had some outside organizations that wanted to do outside activities, specifically the shul and also a synagogue in Southfield. And the way our policy was written, we could only reserve parks for residents and recognized community groups, and you had to be, that was prohibited outside organizations. And we did want to make those groups feel part of the city and encourage participation. So I suggested revisions to the recognized community group criteria so that these types of organizations would be permitted to reserve parks for their outside activities. There's a couple of new paragraphs that I've added, made some other minor edits now that the policy's been in place for a long time that aren't necessarily necessary, like we required a written membership, but somebody clearly has a membership of mostly Huntington Woods residents. We're not going to require them to write down a membership. The group that comes to mind are the seniors that meet at the that we're doing the Sunday meetings at the recreation center. We would like to have them be a recognized community group, but they didn't have a written membership. So I suggested that we strike that language. So this is an attempt to make sure that we are allowing these types of events in our parks, and that we can apply this policy consistently to all groups that meet the criteria.
Well,
Mr. Mayor, my packet didn't contain a red line version of the policy. So
Same problem.
Yeah, I'm not able to see what changes are being proposed.
I see. The copy went out in black and white and not in color. I can move this to the June agenda and provide you with a color copy if that would be helpful.
I think that's a good idea for that reason. Plus, I'm a little concerned about, restrictions like this. So for example, if you have a resident in the city who, let's say, is a member of a church or synagogue, or mosque or whatever. And that organization decides they want, like last week or 2 weeks ago, where Sharon Sedek held an event in Scotia Park. You know, where 50% of the membership of the group must be residents of Huntington Woods. Does that mean 50% of the membership of the organization?
No,
Or 50% of the people who are going to be at the event?
I would interpret it as the latter.
See, I don't interpret it that way. I think this needs work,
Okay.
respectfully. And I think that, you know, like I said, if I want to reserve Scotia Park for an event involving, say, Congregation Shared Sedek or the Woodward Shul or something like that, I just think obviously, if you're reserving it in Huntington Woods, you're anticipating that the people that are going to be there are residents of Huntington Woods. I mean, you're not closing the door to other people, but obviously you're doing it because the organization has a lot of families or whatever in the wood. I just think this needs I favor that we table this until the June meeting, unless you just want to pull it off the agenda.
I'm happy to move it to June. Again, this was my first attempt at workshopping to try to meet the intent. So we could I'd be happy to work with you on it.
I'm not critical of, I'm just saying that this kind of language can cause unintended consequence and unintended problems and unintended issues with regard to First Amendment and things like that. So I say we slow it down. Let's take a look at it. I mean, let's not be a solution out there looking for a problem to attack here. Let's make sure that we're on solid ground. But I'm not critical of this. I'm just concerned about what it can. I'm just concerned about the way others may interpret it. That's all. So you want to just pull it, or do we need a motion to table?
I would do a motion to table it.
So moved. Motion to table.
Well, that's non-debatable.
Do we have a second to the motion that's on the floor?
I'll second it. I do want to comment, though, that I'm thinking that in the application or whatever these folks file with us to become a recognized group, that we need to communicate with them at that time, that does not give them carte blanche to use our city logo as if we're endorsing their organization, endorsing their event. I don't want to see any confusion as to what's going on here, as has happened in the past.
I agree with that. That's what I mean. We just need to be clear and careful about how this kind of policy is worded, because like I said, unintended consequences can follow if it's not. And I don't want to have unintended consequences that cause hard feelings at the least or litigation at the worst.
Well, and my concern is, are we really saying 20 residents from Huntington Woods should be members of the organization? I can see with religious groups wanting, especially in this COVID kind of situation and for other reasons, wanting to hold a service in the city. If you were saying at least 20 members of their congregation should be here, then that's one thing. If you're saying that 20 people that show up should be from the woods, we start ending up with something.
The 20 member minimum is for the group as a whole. We don't want a group to come in with only one or two members, one or two residents, say we're a group and we want to have recognized community status. So the group as a whole has to have at least 20 members so we know it's a real group.
That's why we're better off tabling
Yeah.
this. Let's just table this. This is not ripe for discussion now, and we need much
Actually,
more clear definition.
Well, on table, you can't debate.
I'm not debating it.
Yes, we have a motion on the floor to table it, so we need to end discussion and take a vote on that. So all those in favor of tabling?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Item number 8 is a matter of consideration to authorize a request for reimbursement for money spent to combat the West Nile virus.
So moved.
Support.
Any comments or questions?
Yeah, why does this come up every year? It should be a budget item.
Oh, we should put this on the consent agenda. That's a good idea.
I'm not even talking on the consent agenda. It should be a line item in the budget.
It's a requirement of the county.
To Oakland County, so.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 9 is a matter of consideration to approve a resolution opposing legislation that infringes upon voting rights and makes it more difficult to vote, and urge the Michigan legislature to work with county and local election officials to adopt meaningful election reforms and not impediments to voting.
I
So
move.
moved. Second.
Any comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We do have copies of this going to our Representative Weiss and Senator Moss, as well as the Michigan Municipal League.
Mhm.
Item number 10 is a resolution to recognize Juneteenth as a city holiday.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments or questions?
Is City Hall going to be closed on this day?
It's actually a Saturday, but yeah, we'll be closed the Friday before, and we are not going to be closed, or we're not going to recognize Columbus Day moving forward. So the number of holidays stays the same. We're just swapping out Juneteenth for Columbus Day.
Do we need letters of agreement with the labor unions, or are they on board with it?
The only city building that's closed is City Hall. The rest of the departments all get floating holidays. So this will be, again, we'll swap out Columbus Day and put in Juneteenth as a floating holiday. So there's no change to the collective bargaining agreements.
Great, thank you.
Amy, we and I have talked about this before. I'm very excited about this, and flying a flag to recognize it at City Hall as well. And would you be able to give us an update on what other plans the city plans on doing to celebrate this holiday?
Well, first thing we're going to do is we're going to educate the residents, if you will, on what Juneteenth is, and let them know that it is now a city recognized holiday and why it's a recognized city holiday. I have been in talks with some members of the Huntington Woods for Black Lives to see if there are any events that we could coordinate with them. They were a little leery about doing outside events, given that it's COVID. So we thought maybe we would work on education in year 1 and then look at year 2 for more group events. But again, that's just all still in the works right now. Still talking.
Okay, and is Parks and Rec looking at what other communities have done?
Yes, we looked at that a couple of months ago, and other than Ferndale, nobody had made any real plans yet. So I can get an update on that.
Okay, I'd encourage them to look outside of Michigan as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 11 is consideration of an ordinance to amend the City of Huntington Woods Code of Ordinances regarding the Senior Advisory Committee. This is the second reading. We have a motion to approve.
So moved.
We have a second.
Second.
Any comments or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Opposed? Motion carries. The next item is a matter of consideration of entering into closed session pursuant to MCL 15-268 to discuss union negotiations. This will require a roll call vote, and we will be reconvening following the closed session. We have a motion.
So moved.
Support.
Any comments or questions? Roll call vote. Mayor Pro Tem Olsman,
Aye.
Commissioner Elder,
Hi.
Commissioner Roselle,
Aye.
Commissioner Jenks,
Aye.
Mayor Paul, aye. Motion carries. City Manager's report.
Yeah, I have a reminder from our code enforcement division that as the weather gets warmer and people start working outside on their yards, not to put yard waste out over the weekend. I know it's tempting, but our rubbish and yard waste don't get picked up to Tuesday, so please don't bring it out until Monday after 4 o'clock. From the DPW, the Kingston Road reconstruction has been completed. Well, we're lucky we got that in while the weather was nice earlier this year. We are going to be starting construction in mid-June, and I'm going to list the roads that are going to be under reconstruction, and we encourage residents to call the Department of Public Works because we do send out an e-blast to residents on that road so they can keep track of what's going on. So Kingston between Newport and Wyoming will be reconstructed. LaSalle Lane between Henley and the dead end will be reconstructed, and also LaSalle between Henley and Coolidge. So if you're on any of those roads, call the Department of Public Works and give us your email address and we can put you on the e-blast list. And then the last item I have is I want to remind everyone that this Saturday at 3 o'clock, we're doing a virtual presentation on the anti-racism plan. We're going to talk about how the plan was developed, what is in the plan, what we've accomplished so far. I'm hoping that the commission can join us, and any residents that want to participate, there is a registration process. It's a free presentation, but we ask you to register by going to the library's website and going to events and searching for the presentation, which again is this Saturday on the 15th at 3 o'clock, and signing up for that. And hopefully we'll see you on Saturday. And that's all I have for right now.
Are there any questions for the city manager? Okay. With that, we are going to move to closed session, which Brian, I think we need your help to do.
Yes, I will create a breakout room and then assign each of you to that room, and then you can have your closed session, and afterwards you can come back to the main meeting. And just give me a moment to set that up. Will we reconvene after the meeting?
Yes, we
Yes.
will.
And
Okay.
Matthew, we don't need you at the closed session. It's union negotiations, so you feel free to bow out and go home.
All right. Well, thank you for having me at the meeting. Anytime I meet a group for the first time, it's either as quiet as this or it's something a little more intense. So I'm glad we started on a quiet note here, and hope to see you all again.
All
We
right,
save
thank
the
you.
we save the intensity for Miss Rosati.
Yeah.
There we go. She brings her own, right?
Yes. All right, thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Okay.
Brian, we're ready to go back into open session. All right, Brian, are we back in open session?
Yes, you are.
Okay, thank you.
All right, would someone like to make a motion to approve the tentative agreement with the command officers?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Seconded.
Oh,
Okay, any other comments or questions? All those in favor? Aye.
aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. With that, do we have a motion to adjourn the regular city commission meeting?
So move.
Seconded.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion opposed? Motion carries. Our meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Night.
Thank you, everyone.
Brian.